In this installment, we got the Chiefs, we got the Raiders, we got the Jaguars, and we got the Tennessee Titans. Let's get this 2-game Saturday slate going. Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Chef D, and I'm here to give you the winning ingredients for your 2-game Saturday slate on Draftkings. We have some great matchups, 2 in-division matchups here, AFC West and AFC South. KC going up against the Raiders, and we got the Jacksonville Jaguars going up against the Tennessee Titans. But before I deep dive into that, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitter at MetsNetsJetsD. Don't forget about that TikTok at Chef_D91. And don't forget about the Patreon, guys. Patreon, we did decent in the previous day. We went 2 for 3. We had Milwaukee Bucks in the first quarter, and they covered that whole entire game. That was a great pick. Kings won that game, and we had them at +3.5. Oilers were money line, but they did not come through. And here's the bets right here. All right, we show the wins and we show the losses. As you can see, this was a loss right there. Kings, Bucks, Oilers. But in my other bet, I had Bucks, and I was willing to take the stab on the Thunder. All right, and the Thunder came through. I liked what I was looking at the statistics. Even with SGA out, I think this was a spot where the Oklahoma City Thunder could at least cover. But I was willing to take it on the money line. So, guys, sign up for the Patreon. What's coming up is going to be a futures bet for the Super Bowl. So if you want that Super Bowl futures bet before the postseason starts, sign up for that Patreon right now. I'm going to be posting that this weekend, the Super Bowl selection. All right. So let's get on to this 2-game slate. Before I get into position by position, this is an important week for incentives, all right, for these NFL players, all right? So most likely, they're going to try to get these bonuses, all right? Let's go into this. Shout out to Sal Vetri. He was able to provide this type of information. Patrick Mahomes needs 430 yards to set the record for the Kansas City Chiefs, record for passing yards in a season. He faces the 30th ranked secondary in the Las Vegas Raiders. Mahomes averages 323 yards against this team. So he's most likely going to be over 300 yards. So that's going to bode well for us in fantasy production. If he gets to that 430, that's even better. All right. Obviously, he wants to gear towards that. All right. Other players that are going to be on that Saturday slate, Christian Kirk. He needs 2 more catches to get $500,000 in bonus. And he needs 91 yards to trigger another $500,000 in bonuses. Kirk's player prop is currently at 56.5, so we're probably looking at him toward in this game against a poor secondary in the Tennessee Titans, where they're going to need him to step up. 2 catches is nothing. He's going to want that $1 million, so hopefully he can go off for us in DFS this week. He is going to be definitely motivated to do so. All right, we got one more player on Saturday, and that will be Zay Jones, the other wide receiver for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He needs 2 more catches to get $250,000, and he needs 98 yards to get a $500,000 bonus. And like I said, Tennessee Titans, this is a bottom 10 secondary that we're talking about. All right, so let's start off at that quarterback position. Before we get started, I definitely want to have prayers for T. Higgins and for Damar Hamlin. All right, horrible situation that happened on Monday Night Football, and hopefully these 2 important players and human beings, most importantly, are going to be fine. We're going to keep them in our prayers. So let's continue on with the quarterback plays. All right, now we're going to start off with Patrick Mahomes here. Kansas City Chiefs are in a must-win situation. They want to lock in that number 1 seed here. We do not know what they're going to do with the decision between the Bills and the Bengals. The Bills are right behind the Kansas City Chiefs, number 2 overall in the AFC. The Chiefs are currently number 1, but it's not fully locked in. We're going to wait on the decision that they're going to make. So this game is still important for the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's look at the past 5 games here between the Chiefs and the Raiders. 32-40, 35-31, 41-14, 48-9, and 30-29. These are big totals here that we got going on in this game, and you definitely want to have exposure to this. Currently, right now, the spread is at -9.5 for the Kansas City Chiefs. The total is at 52.5. So there's going to be a ton of points in this game here. So we should expect another very good performance from Patrick Mahomes at $8,000 and $400. All right, he's going to be highly owned. It's a 2-game slate. Everyone's going to automatically go towards him. All right, we're going to get contrarian, but don't be shy to going with Mahomes and then getting cute in other areas. You can still win in those type of situations as well. So don't shy away from Patrick Mahomes, but just know it's going to come with a very, very high price tag and percentage in your tournaments. All right. Patrick Mahomes in a great spot. Let's look at this Raiders defense against opposing quarterbacks. They have struggled. I just showed you that clip from Sal Vetri where this is a bottom 10 secondary, all right? Bottom 5 secondary, actually. So let's go to the wide receivers where these guys are going to eat. And let's look at what these wide receivers have been doing against these Las Vegas Raiders. 155 yards a game, 0.8 TDs a game as well. This is a different animal. As you just saw, how these two teams play each other, this is going to be a very high total game, all right? So take those stats I just showed you with a grain of salt. This is an in-division matchup. They know each other very, very well, all right? So no problem with Patrick Mahomes. The next QB choice, we got Trevor Lawrence here against the Tennessee Titans. Let's look at fantasy points allowed to the quarterback position for the Tennessee Titans here. And they are currently ranked, once I flip this around, the Tennessee Titans are 25th overall, 19th in the red zone. Almost 300 yards passing to QBs, 1.6 TDs a game as well. So this is going to bode well for Trevor Lawrence. Don't forget that he is able and very capable of running that football as well. He was very dynamic against the Jets, against the Dallas Cowboys, and against the Detroit Lions. That can really take his fantasy production, DFS production, to a whole nother level. Hopefully we can get a performance where he has 36 fantasy points like he did against the Tennessee Titans earlier in the season. That can definitely happen again in this game here. But hey, they're fighting for a playoff spot. This could be a little bit of a tighter game, all right? I do not agree with the spread here that they got at -6. It was -7, so you can see it's coming down. The Tennessee Titans under Mike Vrabel, they play very, very tough and rugged football. They're going to show up in this game, all right? They're definitely going to show up in this game. But Trevor Lawrence is in a spot where he should definitely bounce back from his poor performance that he had against the Houston Rockets. Houston Texans were only 5 fantasy points. I said the Rockets. That's crazy. We're going to continue to go down low, all right? Jarrett Stidham, he can be a sneaky quarterback play here with all the eyeballs on Mahomes, all the eyeballs on Trevor Lawrence. They want to play with the new shiny toy. But Jarrett Stidham here is in a situation where he wants to at least get recognized, hopefully win a position here. Derek Carr probably is going to leave the Las Vegas Raiders. This is an audition for Jarrett Stidham to be a quarterback, all right? At least be in a conversation, at least try to be the starter for the Raiders next season, all right? At least to compete. He showed very good performance against the 49ers defense where he had 3 touchdowns, unfortunately had 2 interceptions, and he showed some running ability as well. 34 yards, but did also fumble the ball. He got that back, so that's fine. He came through with 31 fantasy points. I think this is going to be the sneaky play here on Saturday in this game where a lot of people just think that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to blow them out, but I expect the Raiders to keep this within 10 points at least. This should be a nice back and forth type of game. Jarrett Stidham has a nice connection with Devonta Adams and the other wide receivers on this team, so I'm not shied away from him. I like him. I might put him number 2 right under Patrick Mahomes in this game that has a very, very high total. So we'll leave him in the pool here and then move on. So at least we fill out a lineup that can afford everyone. So we'll throw Stidham in there. And then I will speak about Josh Dobbs, all right? Josh Dobbs here, the quarterback for the Tennessee Titans. Malik Willis failed, and they really just found an emergency quarterback that can do at least complete a pass, okay? At least complete a pass. So that's what they found in Joshua Dobbs against Dallas. He was competent. All right, we're not expecting a lot of fantasy production from him. He does have upside with his legs, but I'm not really banking that much in on him. It's going to be the Tennessee Titans. Their bread and butter is going to have to go through Derrick Henry, and if he can make the correct reads on play action, then the Tennessee Titans can put themselves in a very good position to win this game. But Josh Dobbs, as a DFS play, it's going to be a little bit more risky. He's going to be lower on my list. I have Stidham higher than him. I have Lawrence higher than him. And, of course, I have Patrick Mahomes higher than him as well. Let's move on to the running backs. For the running backs, no need to fade this guy here. Derrick Henry against the Jacksonville Jaguars. This is for the playoffs, okay? They're going to feed Derrick Henry. He is the entire offense, especially when you got Joshua Dobbs at quarterback here. Let's look at the last 5 games against the Jaguars. Look at the game log here. 25.5, 34, 39, and 32.5, all right? One poor performance in 2020, but other than that, we're getting crazy numbers here from Derrick Henry, not to mention that game where he had 50 fantasy points if you look back a little bit further. So Derrick Henry is going to return. He's going to be a great ROI here, all right? Return on investment. Derrick Henry at $8,000 in salary. He should be a lock in each and every one of your lineups. No need to fade him in this game in a must-win situation. Obviously, they know the game script. But hey, this is a beast, man, and they've yet to stop him, okay? So Derrick Henry is in a great spot here. Let's look at fantasy points allowed to that running back position. This is a spot where the Jacksonville Jaguars do struggle. Let's just double check on that. We have the Jacksonville Jaguars 13th overall, 20th in the red zone. So that's going to bode well for Derrick Henry when they get into those situations close to the goal line. They tend to give up the touchdown, all right? Yes, they played a little bit better the past 7 weeks with only allowing 78 yards. But if we look back, I just showed you what Derrick Henry did to this team. You could throw those numbers out into the garbage, all right? Look what he did, all right? 121 yards against these Jacksonville Jaguars. 50-yard long, 7.1 yards a carry. Came through with 34 yards receptions as well. So Derrick Henry, we know you must play him, all right? Lock him in to this Saturday slate. All right, we're going to continue to go down low. Josh Jacobs against the Kansas City Chiefs. Here, he didn't participate in walkthroughs on Wednesday. We're going to closely watch if he should be fine for this game. He played against the San Francisco 49ers. They're probably giving him a little bit of a veteran's rest here. Josh Jacobs should be fine for this game. Let's look at fantasy points allowed to the running back position. The Kansas City Chiefs have been pretty solid, all right? 9th overall, 3rd in the red zone, 81 yards a game, 4.1 yards a carry. So maybe we can simmer down on expectations here for Josh Jacobs. I think, not saying he's going to be out of the game script here because he does receive the ball well. Maybe we get a little bit lesser in production rushing wise, but we do see his receiving numbers bump up a little bit. So you can consider him in this game because I do see Kansas City Chiefs going up against the Raiders as a very high scoring game. Maybe the Raiders are down and they need to go in a hurry up offense. That's going to unlock Josh Jacobs receiving the ball, okay? So he can be considered at $7,400 in salary. Travis Etienne has showed up, man. This man is super, super explosive, and this is a great game here going up against Tennessee. Now, matter of fact, it's not really a great game going up against Tennessee. Tennessee has been stout against the run. If we go down here low, they're even better than the Kansas City Chiefs the past 7 weeks. 7th overall, 18th in the red zone, 63 yards a game and 3 yards a carry. So let's see how they performed against him earlier in the season. They stopped him pretty well. So the Tennessee Titans held Travis Etienne to 3.2 fantasy points, okay? It was shocking to see he didn't even get a reception in that game. Like I said, this is going to be a motivated team here. They know they want to stop that connection between Lawrence and Etienne that goes back to college. So they understand that he is very, very dangerous and is a super speedster here. So maybe we can temper expectation on Travis Etienne as well. He's had a great season coming back from his injury, but this spot here is a little bit of a question mark. All right, I do expect the wide receivers to do way better in this game. I would hope ETN gets some more receptions because that is the weakness to the Tennessee Titans, and that is in the secondary. All right, let's continue to go down a little bit lower. Jerick McKinnon has emerged as the #1 running back. He's going to be our second running back play for this Saturday slate here. And it's just banana. It's not even rushing. It's what he's doing in the receiving game, and he's become a favorite target here for Patrick Mahomes in the red zone. All right, against the Seattle Seahawks, 3 for 31 in the touchdown. Against the Houston Texans, 8 for 70, 1 touchdown. Against the Denver Broncos, 7 for 9 for 112, 2 touchdowns. Against the Cincinnati Bengals, he had a touchdown in that game. Against Denver last week, he came through with 22 fantasy points, 5 for 52, and another 2 touchdowns. So Jerick McKinnon here in a great spot going up against these Las Vegas Raiders. They are currently 26th and 22nd going up against running backs. I have it for you right here. These Raiders, 26th and 22nd, allowing 107.8 yards a game, 4.9 yards a carry. So it's up to you. Do you want to go with the more reliable source receiving the ball? Jerick McKinnon has been great. I love him for this matchup at 6,300. If you want someone that's going to run the ball more, that's going to be Isaiah Pacheco. He's going to see double-digit carries and chip here and there with the receiving work as well. He's going to need to get in the end zone to really pay off as well. So if you're looking for a little bit cheaper salary saver running back, he can give you a solid double-digit fantasy point production, which he's done 4 out of the last 5 weeks. Isaiah Pacheco has come through. Maybe you even throw in a lineup with McKinnon and Isaiah Pacheco to go alongside Derrick Henry. You do have a flex spot here. You can get creative, okay? So any other running backs down low here? Hassan Haskins is a backup to Derrick Henry. Jermichael Hasty is a backup to Travis Etienne. I don't see these guys down low here coming through. I can't predict injuries, so we're going to have to assume that these top guys here are going to have to come through. All right, if you want to get real creative, say you left one running back position by itself alone and you filled out every other position in your lineup and you just want to throw in someone down low, then feel free to go with the #2 back here between Haskins, Hasty, and Zamir White. Okay, those would be the guys you would consider. All right, let's move on to the wide receivers. Now on to the wide receivers, and we have Devonta Adams all the way at the top. Q-Tag here. It's more of like a veteran rest, similar situation that happened to Josh Jacobs. He took a personal day here, and it says down low he was a full participant Wednesday. So don't mind that at Q-Tag. Devonta Adams is going to be geared up and ready for this game against the Kansas City Chiefs here, and the Kansas City Chiefs struggle against wide receivers. Let's look at fantasy points allowed to wide receivers. The Kansas City Chiefs are 17th and 29th in the red zone. All right, so 138 yards a game and 1.1 TDs. They're bottom in the league in the red zone, allowing touchdowns. And who you think Jarrett Stidham is going to go towards in these situations? He's going to go to the number one wide receivers in the league here in Devonta Adams. Obviously, it might be some incentives here to getting over 100 receptions in his contract as well. He's at 95 currently, so we expect a good game here from Devonta Adams. And I'm really liking this stack here with Stidham more and more as we go along in this video. Adams is a love for this week. I spoke about the incentives for Christian Kirk and Zay Jones. Both of these guys are going to be loves in this Saturday slate here. Bounce back performance from Christian Kirk. He only saw 2 receptions, 3 targets against Houston. He had another poor performance against the Jets as well. Christian Kirk should turn around in this game. And let's just double check on that. Fantasy points allowed to wide receivers. The Tennessee Titans are 28th and 15th overall, right? Poor secondary here. That's going to bode well for Kirk, and it's going to bode well for Zay Jones. All right, he's in it for some bonuses as well. Okay, he just needs 2 catches. He needs around 70 plus yards. Both of these guys should do well in this game. I'm loving both Jones and Kirk duo here. This was a great signing from the Jacksonville Jaguars. great coaching from Doug Peterson as well, okay? So both of those guys are going to be good. Juju Smith-Schuster, he hasn't exploded like he was doing prior to his injury. A little bit of a struggle here against Denver and Seattle. Mahomes has been using just everyone, right? McKinnon has stepped up, Kelsey, Juju, and now they also have Kadarius Toney, all right? So Juju Smith-Schuster, if you think he's going to bounce back in this game, it's a good environment here going up against the Raiders, okay? So Juju Smith-Schuster, he's been trending poorly the past 2 weeks. He does have some bright spots in week 15 and week 14 with 21 targets in those 2 games. I don't know what happened in these games against Denver and Seattle where Patrick Mahomes has just gone away from Juju. We've seen some very good targets from Juju earlier in the season. 12, 8, 5, 8, 8, 8. It was consistency there. So if we're looking at the long haul, just the overall overview, Juju Smith-Schuster should be fine at $5,000, 400, all right? All right, he needs to get in the end zone if he's going to see just a handful of touches in this game, all right? So Juju Smith-Schuster is fine. Matt Collins is the number 2 wide receiver for the Las Vegas Raiders. When Stidham was in, they utilized the double tight end more. So that's what's going to be useful in here. If you don't trust Matt Collins, we'll get to the tight ends. I think there's 2 guys we can talk about for the Las Vegas Raiders. But Matt Collins has been more of a deeper wide receiver, all right? He's been mid to deep range wide receiver where they use Hunter Renfrow in shorter routes. So Matt Collins can be considered 4,300, not one of my faves, all right? Let's look at the Tennessee Titans. I understand Joshua Dobbs, but Dobbs did way better than Malik Willis, and we're going to throw in Treylon Burks here. I think he's going to be a very big key here in this game against Jacksonville Jaguars. If they're already doing great with Derrick Henry, they utilize the play action. Treylon Burks showed some bright spots last week against the Dallas Cowboys. He came through with 12 fantasy points. If he can get in the end zone, then we're looking at a very good price to wide receiver here. Probably going to be lower owned because no one really wants a wide receiver on the Tennessee Titans, but Treylon Burks is going to be very, very sneaky. I like him at 4,200. Like him more than Matt Collins, all right? Robert Woods, I don't want to get cute with the Tennessee Titans wide receivers. This how far you would go. All right, we have the veteran here in Robert Woods. The upside is in Treylon Burks. It was good to see more targets towards Robert Woods, and he did get in the end zone as well. So other than these 2 wide receivers, we're not going to look at Westbrook Akine. We'll stick with Treylon Burks, and Robert Woods is a decent option at 4,100. All right. The other options for the Kansas City Chiefs, other than Juju Smith-Schuster, Kadarius Toney. As long as he's healthy, he provides upside and explosiveness. All right. We saw the past 2 weeks where he's been fine, getting more and more snaps. He had a touchdown against Seattle, and he saw 4 targets against Denver. All right. So Kadarius Toney has upside to really break the slate. He did against Jacksonville, where we saw him with 4 for 57 and a touchdown. He even chipped in with rushing attempts as well for 33 yards in that game. So Kadarius Toney, another sneakier option at a wide receiver below $5,000 in salary, all right? MVS, we've been waiting for this man all year long, all right? He has done nothing. He only has 2 touchdowns all year long. The best performance he's put up has been 17 fantasy points, and that was in week 7, all right? So he's not someone you need to trust. If you're willing to throw a dart at him, you can, but you're playing roulette when you're talking about these Kansas City Chiefs wide receivers. We go Kelsey, we go Toney, we go we go Juju, and that's the top 3 for the Kansas City Chiefs, all right? Other than those 3, you are really, really playing roulette with MVS and Sky Moore and those types. If you're willing to take that risk, you can, but I do not advise so. All right. Hunter Renfrow only saw 3 targets in the game against San Francisco 49ers. He's not having a year that he had previous. All right. Obviously, Derek Carr is not there. And now Stidham, he's been connected more towards Adams and the 2 tight ends. Okay. So far. All right. So Hunter Renfrow, He's another throw in the dart type of wide receiver, not one of our faves, so he's not going to be put in the pool. All right, we continue to go down low here. We have Marvin Jones Jr., the number 3 option for Jacksonville. If you want to go there, I think it sticks more to Zay Jones, Evan Ingram, and Christian Kirk. But it was a bright spot to see Marvin Jones come through with 7 targets. He came through with 6 receptions and 61 yards. All right. The touchdown production is much lower. Marvin Jones was great last season as the number 2 option. Now he's the number 4 option technically in this offense. So I don't expect much out of him. And I don't think we need to go even further down low here, looking at all the 3K wide receivers. Let's go on to the tight ends. Last but not least, for the Saturday slate, we have the tight end position. All right. I think we got a cheat code here. All right. This is how we're going to build our lineup. Number 1, at running back, lock in Derrick Henry. At number 2, the number 2 thing we're going to do to lock in, we're going to lock in Travis Kelce against the Raiders. All right. He owns the Las Vegas Raiders. Travis Kelce is an absolute monster. I don't need to say anything about these stats. All right, we got 10 targets, got 8, 10, 9, 6. The production is there. And now look at what he's done against these Raiders in the last 5 games. Yes, he has that one bad performance. What was that, last December with 5 fantasy points? But other than that, 33.5, 22.9, 29.9, and 27.8. All right. Those are the 4 of the last 5 games. Very similar to Derrick Henry. 4 of the last 5 games has went off. This is the Las Vegas Raiders, and this is the number 1 target for Patrick Mahomes. You want to lock that in. I think we should build our lineups here with Derrick Henry, Kelce, and then we figure out the rest in this short slate. You want to make sure you hit on the guys that are going to get the majority of the targets. All right. We're going to get Henry with the majority of the carries, and we're going to get Kelce with the majority of the targets, even more than wide receivers. All right. So Travis Kelce is a lock. Let's see if we can find some other gems at the tight end position. Evan Ingram has been great this season. All right. It was an awesome decision for him to come over, take a chance with Doug Peterson. Peterson loves to utilize his tight ends like he did with the Philadelphia Eagles here. And that's what Evan Ingram did coming over in free agency to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Look at some of these games. 7 for 113, 8 for 10 for 62, 11 for 15 for 162 and 2 touchdowns. So we're seeing great production here from Evan Ingram. A poor performance against Houston, because Houston, hey, that's one of the worst run defense teams in the league. They did not need to throw the football. So this can be a spot where they can bounce back, all right, in this game. All right, let's look at fantasy points allowed to the tight end position. The 3rd worst is the Tennessee Titans. 30th overall, 19th in the red zone, okay? So definitely look at Evan Ingram. But guess what? Who is the worst team against opposing tight ends? That is the Jacksonville Jaguars. So who is the tight end that we're going to go into? That's going to be a punt play here, and that will be Chig Okonkwo. This is the tight end that I want from the Tennessee Titans. This is the weakness of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Not only stopping the run, it's stopping the tight end. And Chig Okonkwo has the upside. He has the size speed combination. And I've been talking about him for a lot of weeks coming into this week 18. As you can see the stretch here from week 13, 14, and 15, you saw a double-digit fantasy production. It was good to see Chig connect with Joshua Dobbs against Dallas. 3 for 4 for 24. If he was able to break any one of those catches, he has that type of upside, all right? This dude is super athletic, and I'm like Chig Okonkwo as a deep sleeper here. He's not going to be owned. Chig Okonkwo, maybe you want to go double tight end. Definitely like in Kelce, and then throw Chig at the flex spot. If you want to get creative like that, I like that option as well, because this is the best matchup here. Jaguars have been giving it up to that tight end position. And look at what he did against Jacksonville earlier in the season. 6 for 6 for 45 and a touchdown. Came through with 18 fantasy points. So Chig Okonkwo is the sleeper tight end that we want for week 18 Saturday slate. All right. Darren Waller is back. If you want to go towards him, he was very productive with Stidham. 3 for 5 for 72 and a touchdown. All right. So there's a lot of options here at that tight end position. Not to mention Darren Waller, also Foster Moreau. They utilized both their tight ends with Stidham. They wanted a more bulkier lineup here, protect Stidham, give him time, and that's why they use that double tight end set with Darren Waller and with Foster Moreau. He stepped up 3 receptions for 55 yards as well. He's at 2,800 if you want to look at someone other than Chig Okonkwo. All right. Any other tight ends down low? I don't think we need to go there. The backup tight end for the Tennessee Titans is Austin Hooper. He hasn't done anything all year. I want to go with more upside. I will lean more to Chig Okonkwo. Other than that, we have a whole list of blocking tight ends. And we don't need to go that far. You just want to stick with the production here. You want to lock in Kelsey if you want to get cute and add a second tight end. You got Okonkwo, you got Waller, you got Foster Moreau. Those are all great options. Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitter at MetsNetsJetsD. And don't forget to sign up for that Patreon. We're going to bring up more picks. Obviously, I'm going to have the bets for Saturday and the props for Saturday as well, and look forward to the futures bet for the Super Bowl as well. Thank you guys for tuning in. Peace out.